Welcome to Cinema On. Today we bring you unmissable films nominated for Best Film at the Oscars. Do you already know the works that are part of this competition? Regardless of whether you are already familiar with them, here we are going to talk about the highlights of each one. We will start with the one that, from our perspective, occupies the last place in our personal ranking until we crown our favorite. So join us until the end of this exciting journey to discover which one deserves, in our opinion, to take the Academy Award. Get ready for a cinematic journey full of emotions. Number 10. The Holdovers. A boarding school teacher, bitter about life, must stay at school during the December holidays to take care of the boys who have nowhere else to go. A boy with no family to meet up with, a cook who has lost her son after the war, and a teacher who does not have much more to hope for in life, will find a way to forge an unimaginable bond, which will lead them to open up emotionally to each other. Although the plot offers us moments of humor and tenderness, reminding us of the humanity we share even in the most adverse circumstances, its approach is not entirely new. It is a film to enjoy in a moment of relaxation, although it will not leave you reflecting deeply on its messages or its execution.
This is your Rubicon. Do not cross the Rubicon.
Number 9. American Fiction. This comedy tells the story of an English professor and writer who, fed up with hypocrisy in the publishing industry, writes a satirical novel under a pseudonym to denounce it. However, he ends up finding caught in the tumult of his own creation. This comedy takes us from laughter to reflection, touching on topics such as hypocrisy in the literary world and the thin line between fiction and reality. His proposal is ingenious and reminds us of the series BoJack Horseman, but it seems to us that it is not enough to stand out as the best among the nominees.
We sold your book.
No.
We believe Mr. Lee has written a bestseller.
It's a joke.
The most lucrative joke you've ever told.
Look at what they publish. Look at what they expect us to write. I just want to rub their noses in it.
Is this based on your actual life?
Yeah, you think some bitch-ass college boy can come up with that shit?
No, I don't.
Ask what you were in for? Was it murder?
You said that, not me.
Number 8. Maestro. Here, we will dive into the life of Leonardo Bernstein, a musician with judgment and certainty about his art. With untouchable talent and discipline, this man was clear about where his artistic career was going. This biopic portrays his love relationship with Felicia Montealegre and his professional successes. Based on real life, with this film, you will travel to the rhythm of music and the heart. Despite its outstanding performances and the emotional love story, we find that it lacks that differentiating element that separates it from other musical biopics. It's a beautiful piece of cinema, but not the standout this year. Continue watching to find the most powerful work on this list.
If summer doesn't sing in you, then nothing sings in you. And if nothing sings in you, then you can't make music.
Number 7. Past Lives. Nora and Hai, two childhood friends who shared a strong relationship and deep connections, separate when they are just 10 years old. Nora's family emigrates from South Korea to Canada. They only meet again many years later and spend a week that will confront them with deep reflections and unimaginable feelings. Love, life decisions, and destiny are the axes of this film.
There's a word in Korean, inyeon. It means providence or fate.
Do you believe in that?
That's just something Koreans say to seduce someone.
Number 6. Oppenheimer. Based on the true story of the biography of scientist Oppenheimer, this film represents the role he played in the development and creation of the atomic bomb. This bomb played a major role in the political map of the Cold War in favor of the United States. We find a great representation of the abrupt change of position of the scientist towards this weapon after contemplating its destructive power and all the consequences that lead to him after changing his mind. This film invites us to reflect on ethics and the consequences of scientific advances. Its narrative based on real events connects us deeply, but we prefer stories that move us with more intimate characters and stories.
We imagine a future, and our imaginings horrify us.
Number 5. Barbie. In the land of Barbies, Barbie lives the best life. Everything runs like clock. with the perfection of everyday life with parties full of music and color. However, Barbie begins to ask herself questions that do not fit with the utopian world in which she and the other Barbies live. Questions about death, the body, and other transcendental aspects will lead Barbie to search for the real world, where she will have to get off her heels. This film, eagerly awaited by thousands, met great expectations and gave rise to talking about key issues today. The roles of gender in the world, the transformation of these roles and empowerment, freedom and the fight for equality. Magnificent and extravagant. Definitely among all the nominees, we go for films with more implicit messages, which give the viewer much more opportunity to think.
Falling off my roof. And my heels are on the ground.
Continue watching the video to find out which title takes the top spot. Number 4. The Killers of the Flower Moon. Ernest arrives from the war to the lands of his uncle, a wealthy white gentleman who works in the Osage Nation, a place in Oklahoma recently discovered to be rich in oil. Ernest marries a native of the tribes, at the same time that the natives begin to be systematically murdered without any investigation into the matter. Given the continuous repetition of deaths and the tribe's request to the president to take action, several FBI agents arrive at the scene and encounter multiple acts of betrayal and colonization, seeking to exterminate the tribe. The film narrates in great detail the series of murders that occurred in the Osage Nation, based on real events and characters. With a plot that maintains tension and interest, its performances and sets make it deserve a prominent place on our list.
You know, you got nice color skin. What color would you say that is?
My color.
Number 3. The Zone of Interest. From an unusual perspective, the family of the Auschwitz concentration camp seeks to have an ideal life in a house near the countryside. Despite the horrors caused by the Holocaust, this family shows us indifference in the face of horror. The father takes the children out for a walk, takes care of the garden, and the servants take care of the housework. But the horror and violence remain on the other side of the wall of the house where they live. Its unique approach forces us to place a different perspective of the conflict, placing it in our top 3 for its bold narrative proposal. Number 2. Poor Things. Fantasy, drama, and comedy mix in this extraordinary film. It tells the fantastic story of a young woman named Bella who is revived by a doctor in a strange experiment, which results in a woman who seems to know nothing about the world she inhabits. Under the doctor's protection, Bella begins to explore her surroundings. Eager to know even more, she runs away with a sophisticated lawyer who wants her only for himself. In the midst of the journey and adventure, Bella will discover a painful but exciting world which will allow her to know herself and develop freely, letting go of the prejudices of her time and willing to defend equality and feminine pleasure. The film creates a parallel universe, representing everything that even today is difficult for us to express freely. The exploration of sexuality, the search for meaning in life, the perversities of humanity, and the power struggles between genders.
Bella, this is Mr. McCandles.
Hello, Bella.
Number 1. Anatomy of a Fall. We come across a constant mystery surrounding the death of a musician, Samuel. The death investigation cannot determine whether it was a suicide or a homicide. So Sandra, the man's wife, is dragged into an accusatory trial, being the only suspect in the death. Desperate to defend her innocence, the woman and her lawyer wage a relentless legal battle. However, the shadow of doubt begins to darken the son's trust in his own mother, while both face the uncertainty. The film's ability to keep us engaged, reflecting on justice, morality, and the human condition, puts it at the top of our list.
What is inconclusive? An accidental fall is going to be hard for us to defend. That's why there's an investigation for a more suspicious death, because you were the only person there. And of course, you're his wife.
Stop. I did not kill him.
That's not the point.
And so we conclude our journey through the Best Picture nominees at the 2024 Oscars. Now it's your turn to explore these stories and form your own opinion. Do you agree with our choice? Which movie has impacted you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to Cinema On for more film recommendations. Until next time.